What is up, guys, and welcome to another league racing video on the channel here today. And this is round number 7 of SLR for the French Grand Prix, and I'm going to show you the championship standings based off the last race in Baku. We are currently 4th in the championship, just behind Arbon, Jitto and Czech, as we're looking to make more progress at the front. And in the constructors, we are 5th place behind Ferrari and a resurging Alpine. So we've got our hands full here this weekend, and yeah, so as you saw in the intro, we invalidated at turn 1, which is always a brilliant start to a qualifying session, a full qualifying session. So we're going to try again, and we are way up on the delta as we're at a 29.4, and we go P2, 3/10 behind DPT Alfie, and that is basically it. That's it for Q1. We're 4th place behind Lever King, Alfie and Ads. So we're among some decent company at the end of Q1, and we move into Q2, where we're going to once again try our luck on the medium tyres. So you guys might be wondering why there's no LCR videos, and that's because that league has stopped for the season due to low attendance and the desync issues at the time. So you might see more LCR content in F1 22 if I decide to stay there. So SLR will be the main priority with these league racing videos as we come through the final couple of corners here on this one and only medium lap, as we ideally want to use one lap to get through, as we only have one set of medium tyres. So here we go then. What is it going to be? It's going to be a 30.2, and even at the time I said to myself that that lap was just terrible. It just didn't feel good. It just wasn't a good lap, and as you can see at the end of the session, we are P11 and we have to use these soft compound tyres in order to get through. So that's how bad the medium run was, as Jensen sets the fastest lap of the session. He's actually showing some really good pace at the minute. As we come through the last corner, we are over a second up in the first 2 sectors as we cross the line here. What is it going to be? It's a 29.0, and we go fastest of all as we weirdly pause the game. So yeah, we got through into Q3, but there's one problem. I forgot to record the first part of Q3, so we're going to skip straight to the last part of the session where we have the last run. So as you can see on the top left hand side of your screen, we are currently on pole position, and we've told Jeff to shut up as we are preparing for the final lap of qualifying. Are we going to be sealing our first pole position here in Summit League Racing? Well, we're going to find out here. We're going to talk you through the lap as always as we start the lap here in Le Castellet. Down the straight, 8th gear, you want to prepare for turn 1. Late braking, down to 4th gear, 5th gear ideally, but it's just preference as we're going through the first 2 corners. We are currently down on the lap, so we want to make sure we want to get this lap in. Our PB was a 28.4 in time trial, which is a little bit quicker, but yeah, let's see if we can get anywhere near that. At the moment, it doesn't look like it. We're only 600s up on the lap as we lose more time through turn 5 and 6 there. We're a bit cautious compared to the last run, but yeah, we're not looking too good. Ideally, we want to be in the mid 28s, so near our PB, so 28.678, just to make sure we have a chance to be in the top 3 as we slide there through turn 9. So we're only a 10th up, which is very strange. So it's not looking great, as I think the delta would just under half a 10th clear. So this is really not looking good for our lap here. We're really in trouble, as I don't think we're going to get pole position here as we come through the end of the lap now in the 3rd sector. Can we make up any more time as we aggressively swing in 3rd gear, short shift straight to 4th as we're coming through the final 2 corners now? Are we going to be able to do anything? Can we sneak in? We're 2 tenths up, but as you can see, we're losing time to the final 2 corners. As you can see there on the exit of the last corner, we're only just under a 10.5 up, so we've lost a good 2 tenths there. As we cross the line, we don't break into the 28. It's another 29.0, and we've gone from pole position to P4. Ads, Alfie and Risks all got into the 28, except us. So very frustrating. As we move on to the race strategy, we're gonna have to go for soft to hard. I think that's basically the only strategy we can do here. I mean, I would try the mediums, but you know, there's not much point risking a puncture right at the end of the race. So Here we go then, preparing for the start of the race. I forgot to change my tyre pressures, so we're stuck on 23.0 tyre pressures at the front. So let's see if we can manage that situation as we roll up to 5 red lights for the French Grand Prix. And we are underway in Paul Ricard. Alfie gets really slow off the line on the medium tyres, and we're looking to get past him. But there's another car next to us. We're nearly 4 wide going into turn 1. I've never had that in league racing before. As Levy King gets spun out, but this time, compared to LCR, we do not hit the spinning car, and we managed to get clear of the incident, and we have maintained position. But Jensen out of nowhere is up in a 3rd place. So not great. We haven't lost anything. We've still got a front wing intact, so I'll take that. But we haven't gained anything, unfortunately, from the race start, as Tuman is right behind us as well. So, not too bad. Not too bad of a start here. We're looking to make sure we can keep up with Jensen, because with this track, it's a bit of a DRS train. So it's important to manage ERS, manage the tyres, and make sure you don't get any unnecessary warnings. We cut all the way to lap 3 now. Nothing much has happened. We're just following Jensen at the moment. We've got Ads in the lead as he got pole position ahead of Elite Risks, who is really, really quick. But for some reason, he doesn't look as quick as he normally does. And I'll get to that in a second. But as we come through this right-hander, we are really closing in on Jensen, looking to size of an overtake at some point. But we don't have to worry about that, because he's just spun off on the exit curb. And we are up into 3rd place. So I'm not complaining. That's a free position. So now we can concentrate on getting Elite Risks in the Ferrari as we cut to lap 4 now. We set a purple first sector of the race, and you're going to see it's quite a bit. So I'm just going to show you guys here. The effect of the slipstream around this track is quite ridiculous as we set another green sector. And look at the slipstream we are getting through that right-hander. But we can't make much of it as Elite Risks has that covered. So, yeah, another thing I forgot to mention, Ads is on the medium tyres, so he's literally hit the jackpot in terms of track position here, as we're already pulling away from the other runners on the alternate strategy. So, starting on the softs wasn't too bad of an idea at all. It was better than risking poor track position. So, as we come to end lap 4 of this race, we are on the verge of setting a PB at the minute, so pace is looking pretty decent. We set a 33.4, which is not bad at all. But on to lap 5, as you can see now, we are trying to get past Elite Risks once again, and we're using overtake and the DRS. But at this moment, I realised, as you can see, we turn off the battery. We just don't have the straight line speed compared to the Ferrari. So in this race, I was running 8-9 wings, and that had a compromise to our straight line speed. As you can see, the tyres are starting to go off at this stage. Yeah, the tyres were like 9% at the end of Q2, which is really, really annoying. So it is what it is, but we have to keep pushing here as we move on to the next lap. As you can see now, Ads has pulled out of the DRS range from Risks. So now this is our chance to overtake the Ferrari, and the reason why he's struggling at the minute is because he had low tyre pressures, and that's exactly what we were going to do. But thankfully, we didn't do it, and now we're going to stroll past the Ferrari up in the 2nd place. And now there are no more cars between me and the Alpine, who is looking for his 2nd consecutive victory here in this championship, which is really, really impressive. But as we come to the end of the next lap, lap 7, we're going to follow the plan compared to Baku, and we're going to box for the hard compound tyres as we are pretty cautious into the pit lane, making sure we don't pick up a 5-second penalty for speeding. And yeah, we're going to go on to the hard compound tyres. So this is going to be an attempted undercut. We are the first ones to make the call and pit for new tyres. So we're going to have to make sure we can make this work to the end of the race. It's 20 laps. I think it's doable, but the tyres will be going off towards the end of the race for sure, as especially Ads will have fresher tyres by the end of the race. So as we come out the pits now on lap 8, we are right behind SLR Barlow, who is, I think, on the medium tyres, and he is yet to box in this race. So that's how far behind everyone else is on the alternate strategy. So this should be a very easy move. DRS and a bit of ERS assistance with us here down the straight, and there you go, easy as pie. We make the move, and we are up into 11th place, still with no warnings in this race. But we need to keep on pushing, because There's some stuff runners that are going to box on the end of this lap. So as we come through the end of lap 8, we've set a purple middle sector, but we go a little bit wide there. We missed the, we get stuck on the curb a little bit on the outside. But here we go. We're going to use the overtake down the main straight because we know that there's some people coming out of the pits right now. As we start lap 9, it's a purple sector 3. And as you can see, Elite Risk has come out of the pits on a set of medium tyres. And look at the gap we have to him here. We are 3 seconds ahead. And Barlow is holding him up. So it was so important to make that move on Barlow, as we have a good buffer to the cars behind. And we're going to carry on pushing because we know Ads is going to pit soon, as we set a 33.0, and on the next lap we set another personal best in the middle sector as we come through using the overtake once again. As we cross the line, it's a 33.0 again, just improving by just under half a tenth. But the pace is looking pretty decent on the mediums, but we have to be mindful that we have to get these tyres to the end of the race, and it won't mean too much if we just wear them out already, as we go nearly 4.5 tenths down on our PB there. But here we go then. This is the important moment of the race. Is the undercut gonna work for us as we end lap 12? Ads is in the pits for a set of hard tyres along with Zaki's Beast. And here we go then. Are we going to be ahead of the Alpine? The answer is an emphatic yes. We are in a net lead of the French Grand Prix. The undercut seems to have worked for the time being, as we have a 3-second advantage over the Alpine. But we've got to be careful. We've got to make sure we can manage the gap and the tyres to the end of the race, because we already know Ads is very, very quick, as JF1 pits at the end of the next lap. And there you go. We officially lead the French Grand Prix from 4th on the grid. So pretty good. But the gap, as you can see, is already coming down to 2.4, so we have to be careful that we can manage the tyres and make sure we can manage the gap behind as much as we can, so we don't get vulnerable to attacks later on. But as you can see here, we go through turn 6 and we're not making it easy for ourselves, as we have a bit of a moment there through turn 6, and that's going to cost us a little bit of time. As we cut to the end of lap 15, the gap is already 1.5 seconds. I have no idea what happened to our pace here. It just kind of dropped off, as yeah, we do a 33.3, but now by lap 17 the gap is less than a second, and Errol Tuman has come into play here, as he's put a car between me and Ads, as yeah, he's into second place right behind us with DRS. So we really haven't done a good job of maintaining this gap. We just don't seem to have the pace on these hard compound tyres. The mediums just seem to be the better tyre at the minute. As lap 19, Tuman, we're going to let him through here. This is part of the plan. We're going to try not to use our tyres and our ERS till the end of the race. So we're going to let Tuman go. His tyres are going to be gone in a couple of laps time, as he pitted on lap 8 for those tyres. So all we need to do now is keep Ads behind, manage the battery, manage the tyres, and then when the time is right, we go for Tuman and retake the lead. But Ads is not making the plan easy, as he's looking to size of a move. He's forcing us to use the ERS down the main straight towards turns 1 and 2. As yeah, this is not really working, as Ads is really putting on the pressure on those much fresher hard compound tyres. So, but we've already committed to the plan. We're going to try and stick with it. We have DRS off Tuman. We know we're going to be faster at some point because his tyres are going to be gone. All we need to do is just stick behind him. And that's basically it, as the left front is already nearly at 50%, as we are closing in on the Alfa Romeo, but we're not going to go for the move, as yeah, we're just trying to play it safe here, just waiting for the right time as we cut onto lap 23. Once again, it's a DRS train, nothing much is happening here, but now this is where things get a little bit pear-shaped for us. We've got 5 laps to the end. We've still got one warning, I think. But as you can see, Ads is really putting the pressure on. We're not covering the move, and he's going to go straight down the inside. And are we going to be able to defend from this? No, we're not. We'll try and hang on the inside. But Ads just swoops right outside, and just like that, he has overtaken us for second place in this race. So we've gone from first to third in a space of 4 laps, and the plan has failed. We've failed to keep him behind, and I know at this point our chances of victory might be dashed here, because Ads is so much quicker than Tuman and myself. and he'll have an easy overtake when he gets right behind the Alfa Romeo on his wearing medium tyres, as Jito has retired from the race. He had a crash through that right-hander, and that's his race over. He had a qualifying ban as well, so it's a dreadful weekend for Jito, who could have gained some serious points on Czech, who I don't think was racing this weekend, so a missed opportunity for him. A terrible weekend for the Red Bull. Meanwhile, Ads is going for the lead against Tuman. I was praying that Tuman could defend, but there's nothing he can do there as he moves into the lead with the Alpine ahead of the Alfa Romeo. And now we have to pass Tuman if we want any chance of getting the lead back of this French Grand Prix. As you can see, look at that. All three of us are so close to each other. You could put a piece of paper between the three front runners here. It's absolutely brilliant to see the amount of competitiveness in this league. I think it's absolutely brilliant. However, we have a job to do as Tuman makes a big mistake here at the start of lap 25. Through turn 3, went really wide, and this is our opportunity to get the move done as we get a second warning for track limits at turn 4. As now we're going through turn 7, we have to make this move, so we're going to drain the battery out of pure anger here. We drain the battery and we use the DRS to get through, and we're up in a second place on lap 25. And now it's going to be a straight up fight between me and Ads for the race win, unless I make a mistake somehow. But yeah, we're going to have to try our best and keep up with the Alpine, who has tyres that are 5 laps fresher than ours. So it's going to be quite a task. As you can see on the bottom right icon, there is an orange icon on the bottom right hand side of the screen, which means our tyres have hit 60%. So we'll have one chance at this, but yeah, we're going to have to take it as we move on to lap 26 as we lag through. I don't know why that's happening, but we have to roll with it. But yeah, as you can see, we're going to use the DRS, but we don't use any ERS as we're gaining on the Alpine. But through turns 8 and 9, yeah, I think in hindsight, watching this back, we could have used more battery to put him under more pressure, as he just looks quicker than us in a straight line. So that chance is gone, but the plan was to save as much battery as he could for the last lap of this race. And now we cut to the final lap of the race. This is it. We're going to have one opportunity to get this overtake done and reclaim the lead of the French Grand Prix and claim our second win in SLR here in this league. So can we do it? We're going to get DRS. We're going to stay in the slipstream. But as you can see, just like earlier with Elite Risks, it's not doing anything. And we're running out of VRS. We have absolutely no battery left. And I think Ads was saving ERS while he was in front of Tuman and prepared himself for the last lap. So just like that, the chance is gone. We're going to continue draining the battery anyway, just out of pure desperation to keep up with the Alpine and force him into a mistake maybe. But it just doesn't seem likely, as we're saying personal best on this last lap. We've got nothing left in terms of VRS. We're on 0%. And yeah, at the time, this was just really infuriating. Watching Ads drive away from us still, even if it's the last lap, as we lag again through the final 2 corners here. And Ads is going to hang on here. He had the better strategy, and he's used it to his advantage to win the French Grand Prix, and we come home for P2 in this French Grand Prix. Why is my guy celebrating? Why is my guy celebrating? We finished second here, which is our second podium in a row and our third of the season. But once again, Ads has basically just played us like a mug. We are 0-2 against this guy in terms of racing each other, as he throws a copy into the game, lifts the trophy in pure delight. Don't pick up F1 2021, by the way, as he celebrates with the champagne. And just like Baku, at the time, I was absolutely furious. I was angry with myself because we could have made that work, and we basically lost the race on lap 23. But in hindsight, it was the best that we could have done. P2 is still a good result, and that has an impact on the Drivers' Championship as well. So as you can see, we jump into the top 3. We jump ahead of Arbon, and we are now only 23 points behind SRL Czech and 7 behind Jito, as we keep building momentum and chipping away at the leaders. And in the constructors, we are back ahead of Ferrari. So progress being made here in this French Grand Prix. The next race is going to be in Austria, so stay tuned for that as well. And that is going to be the end of today's video, guys. Subscribe to the channel for more league racing content, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Goodbye.